Y'all lost y'all goddamn minds.
These coward ass lily livered young
Bro,
dudes
you
that
said
ain't been
your daddy
through
was a
shit.
Green Beret. You didn't even join the
Hold
military.
on, man. I can answer this question. Which question, y'all? So I can get
Okay, so
started.
when you start touching that,
put the
when you
gloves
start
back on.
touching that,
Listen, I'm new to the panel, bro.
when you
But
start touching that,
I'm
my
not one
dad
of these
didn't want
easy
me in the
wins.
military. I got all the way up to ROTC, and he said,
Oh,
"Nah,
congratulations! You were in ROTC in high school.
gave my pound of flesh."
Bro,
He
you
said
should have
he
been in
didn't
the
want me
Coast
in the
Guard. You
military.
didn't even do nothing. You were in high school in ROTC, bro. What are you talking about? You didn't join. You didn't serve. You ain't seen that one.
Wait. That's college. Young man, that's college. Young man, that's
Did
college.
you go to the military after that? Yes or no?
No, I didn't because my dad didn't want me in the military.
All right. Let's go ahead and get back on topic.
Like your daddy had some nuts about him. You didn't because you quit in college. I actually served.
I quit in college.
Let's get back on topic, man.
Actually, I was robbing niggas like you.
Kenny.
After I left college, I was hustling drugs.
Need to go rob a hair doctor. Go ahead.
All right.
It's gonna be a bad night for you because I'm gonna stay focused.
Hey, I ain't gonna be on here all night, Kenny.
As thick as them glasses is, I bet you will.
Hey, Jay, what's the next question?
I can tell you's a coward. You bust a gun, you don't fight.
You didn't do either. You're a civilian.
I do. No. That's one thing I can show you.
All right, y'all.
I
got about 6,000 hours in the ring.
And I'm sure your father is proud of you for being a failure. Congratulations.
Kenny and blockchain. Hold on, y'all. Some people feel that Black women are quick to make excuses for their behavior and struggles.
Okay.
Do you think this is a fair criticism, or is it rooted in misunderstandings about the real challenges Black women face?
No, I think it's fair criticism. I do. I mean, look, some people love to use excuses. They call it the victim Olympics. They love doing that, making up any reasons why they can't do certain things. Man, to me, I don't believe in making excuses. I need for you to come up with answers and solutions. Not no goddamn solution. We can't keep doing this. We can't keep blaming the white man all the time. Not every situation you can put on the white man. Are there a lot of situations where the white man got some blame? Yeah, I agree. We can't do it all the time. I think my man Corey said sometime eventually they're gonna get us. They're gonna be like the little boy that cried wolf. They're gonna stop listening to us, believe us. We can't keep doing that all the time. And to go back to answer the question, I think originally had about protecting. You know how I'm gonna protect them if I see a situation like that? I'm gonna call the police on them. I'm saying, hey, 911, y'all better come on down here because this heifer getting her ass goddamn whooped. So y'all better hurry and get down here for something happened to her. Because the last time I interfered with a situation like that, I almost got robbed. And once that happened, I said, never again. Never again will I ever put myself in jeopardy and almost get myself robbed because I'm trying to help this heifer from getting a goddamn ass whooped. You live and learn. And it's just one of them things. Now, look, if y'all want to go out and jump in, good luck with that. I hope y'all make it out of the situation. But if you ain't got my last name or you not in my bloodline or under my family covering, then I can't do nothing for you, man, but I call the police. 911, come get them.
Hank, I'm different from you, bro. I hope they meet their demise.
Oh, goddamn.
Because you got to understand something.
So check it out. I got something to add to that, right? Because look, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? When I say that I make sure anybody that's around me is protected, you know what I mean, in scenarios like this. You know, everybody know I got my show, Facts and Law Pod show, right? 90% of my guests are female. When they come to my studio, after a certain time, the front door is locked, and I have to make sure they have to actually go out through the back doors. Me making sure they are good is me not only driving them around to the front and not making them walk through the alley to their cars. You know what I'm saying? But it's also just making sure they get away from me like they got to me. You dig what I'm saying? Because when you are in my presence, you're my responsibility. That's one of the main things I'm talking about. I'm going to make sure you are good. I
agree with that.
I'm not going to let you walk outside, go down the alley, and now you get robbed or worse. And
I agree with that.
It's on me.
I agree with you.
Right?
We all agree with
not,
I invited
that's
you
not
here.
what we're talking about.
Saying? I made sure, but I'm saying, but that comes from protecting Black women. I'm saying in those type of
but
scenarios.
That's not what we're
hold on,
about.
I'm not done, Will. What I'm saying is, I'm gonna make sure you're good, regardless if you're around me.
If you got Mexican guests, Are you gonna do it for them?
Listen. God forbid you pull up to my show, and let's say a dude pull up to the show looking for you. Hey, bro, you're gonna have to take that somewhere else. You ain't gonna do it here. You understand? I put myself in that scenario because I invited you to me. You were in my presence. You're over here due to me. So it is my responsibility. You dig what I'm saying? So
you have a connection there.
Before. If somebody's around me, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to make sure they're good. And I say our black women have the same responsibilities to us. Plain and simple.
I don't disagree with the majority of what you said, but I want to highlight two things. One, the reason why you're protecting them is because you brought them there, so y'all are connected now, which you should protect them. Like if you came to my house and I know I lived in a rough area, I'm not gonna let you go outside with all your jewelry on until they can say they can run down. I know better, right? I'm gonna make sure you get out the neighborhood. Or you said you take them and drive them around to their car. That's the same thing we do to women that come to the house and get smashed. Like we walk them to the car, basically. Which what you're saying. No one is arguing against that. That's common sense, I would think, common decency for men. But what he's talking about is people you don't know. Me and you at the mall going to buy shoes, and we see a girl getting beat up, getting into a fight with a guy, or two girls fighting a guy. Are you running over there to save them? That's a more fitting scenario for the question. Because everyone expects you to protect people in your house or that you with. Like everybody expects that. But if you go to the mall and you see a girl getting beat up, or saying two girls getting beat up by a guy, what are you doing? And do you feel that you owe those women your protection?
I feel like that's a different scenario. That's a further removed scenario.
We're good. Then I think
that's a further removed scenario.
Why are you trying to justify these guys to be standing around watching a woman get beat to death, going through friggin' qualifying statements? You understand? It's sad to see these young girls.
No, we're not going to sit there and watch. We're going to keep going about our business. You don't want to stare and make it obvious. You want to just keep passing. When you see somebody fall, and you're like, oh shit, I don't want to look. So they see me and start laughing.
Why you walking away?
You just. I'm gonna call the police. You never even saw. You look. You think to yourself, oh shit, she getting her ass whooped. You keep on walking. No, don't make eye contact. Because then you gotta get in there. Don't make eye contact.
Marcus proved the point earlier. You never know how many niggas got guns. So you go over there try to break up a fight to a nigga that's strapped, and he fighting two girls. See you trying to help them. Now he, again, as a gun advocate, he has a legal defense to shoot you now. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it sounds good, right? In theory, it sounds really good to just go out here and protect people all willy-nilly. Sounds great. But in practice, like I give it to Marcus. He said that he felt like a coward, and him admitting that out loud, I will never ever dispute that, because that man said how he feels and it's valid. But to think that you just gonna walk up on a regular dude who's fighting two girls and then you being the right, it's not gonna happen. Because now when the police get called, you are an aggressor. It's three people against one now. And like the optics of that won't never work in your favor. Like, that's the stuff that I think about when I see this. Like Mont said he'll call the police. I told you I'm putting my shades on and walking about my business. Bro said that he gonna turn his head and go the other way. But just to think that the black women are just owed us risking our lives for them, that's just not realistic to me.
Okay, you young. So where'd you grow up?
41. What are you talking about? I mean, young.
You young.
Oh, well, that's why you owe. Okay, cool. What are you, 50 something?
Okay, so where'd you grow up?
Dallas, Texas.
Lawn, grass, house, projects, where?
I'm from the worst neighborhood in Dallas. So if that's the track you want to go down, cool.
No, I'm asking questions. I need to learn more about you. Why you hold these stances?
Father in the worst neighborhood in Dallas. So now
raised by a single what father?
Single father. So now what's your
single
point?
Father.
Right.
I got a question for you, Black Boy.
Gun toter.
Like I'm saying, I'm strapped now. What are you talking about?
You strapped now?
What, like, get to the point.
On a panel?
Like, it's got to be a point of stuff while I'm in my home.
Wait, you strapped now on a panel?
What are you? I feel like I'm arguing with a woman right now. What are you talking about?
That's the second time you called me a woman.
No, I did not characterize your behavior as one.
All right, let's go ahead and get back on track, y'all. I don't think we're going over that. Go ahead, Marcus. You had a question for blockchain?
Yeah. Is it because I was thinking about when you said you was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Is the directive of the military at the same level, like so consciously, right? When you think about the people that you have to protect,
Right.
I would assume that you would say I'm protecting everybody in my squadron or platoon or whatever.
No,
it is, right?
everybody in uniform, not just my squadron. Everybody in uniform. Right.
Do you consider black as a uniform?
No.
Okay.
Cause I can't take it off. That's me. It's who I am. I take my uniform off every day. Like I couldn't even come home from work in my uniform, just because of where I served and some stuff I was doing. So no, being black is not a uniform. It's a state of being. It's who I am. But to your point, in the military, so we're in the military. If we're on a recon mission doing whatever we're doing, and you get hurt, I can't come back without you, dead or alive. Because if I'm expected to lay down my life in defense of you, that's a part of the oath that I take. It's one of the general orders that we have. So this doesn't apply to civilians. Now, for example, if that girl is in the military and I know her to be in the military, I have an oath to go try to help her then. That's different. If you were in the military, say you're in the Army, I was in the Navy, and I know that she was getting jumped, it's my job to come help you fight or to try to come defuse the situation. That's non-negotiable. But what I'm not going to do is do that for a stranger or a civilian.
But blockchain, make sure they understand something. See, the beautiful part about what you're saying that you're not saying is that those other personnel are supposed to do the exact same thing for you.
That's what
It's not a one-way street. So Marcus, I got a question for you. Marcus.
That is what you call community.
I get that it's in you to do what you're willing to do. And I'm not going to tell you that it shouldn't be in you. If that is innately who you are going to struggle at night when you don't live up to who you are, whether it ultimately ends up in your demise or not. It's who you are. So you have a son. Are you going to try to ingrain that into your son? Or are you going to allow your son to not be that if it's not innately in him?
If it's not in him, I'm not going to force him to be courageous.
But so think about this. So if the other gentleman, let's say you and some of the other crash test dummies on this panel, who
you call us crash test dummies, we got to start calling y'all cowardly coons or some shit.
That's cool, right. So
coward.
But hold on, gentlemen, hold on. Listen. Y'all already are calling us cowardly.
Call us crash test spectator.
Hold on, listen.
He's a coward.
Hold on, y'all. Y'all already telling us that we're cowardly for not doing such a thing, and we're accepting that. We're not mad that y'all calling us that because we don't think we're cowardly whatsoever. We don't believe.
That's a sad part.
I said that I'm whatever y'all's perspective is y'all's, but for me, I would feel I personalized it to be specific.
Right, but people have called us cowards for not being willing to do it. So here's what I'm saying. What is the purpose of a crash test dummy? Hink, I want you to hear this because this is what I wanted to clear this up for you. Marcus, what is the
cars to see about impact?
Marcus, what is the purpose of a crash test dummy?
Back in the 70s, they used to put them inside of cars to test impact.
I don't acknowledge the person who's talking, so I need to hear Marcus. Marcus, I need to hear from you, bro, because
that's a fair statement.
I wasn't listening. I'm sorry. I wasn't listening though. I'm sorry. Could you tell me?
Test out cars. Test out the safety of cars.
That's where the crash test dummies started.
And crash test dummies started in 1940, not 1970.
So listen. So a crash test.
I'm glad you looked it up.
So a crash test dummy is
1970s, I was there.
to.
You wasn't even in your dad's nuts.
So a crash test dummy is supposed to absorb impact, right? And we're supposed to observe what happened to the crash test dummy so we can then make adjustments to minimize the need for a crash test dummy. They study crash test dummies to evolve safety features to make sure that other people aren't the victims of the results of what that crash test dummy experienced. True or false?
Absolutely true.
That's true. However, we don't accept the label of crash test dummy. That's something you assign so that
Say that again.
You can call us crash test.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I can't hear him. What you say, Marcus?
I said that is true. Your characterization of what it's used for and the benefit or non-benefit of it is true. However, we don't accept the label, so making that point is
no. Okay. You don't have to accept the label. Cool.
Insult
but understand
you
something.
In broad daylight.
What?
Me saying that before?
Gentlemen, y'all don't know that there's history there, and he wants me to respond to him so bad. He wants my attention so bad, and I'm not giving it to him. So I'm trying to get through this. Look, so Marcus, understand, if we remove the term crash test dummy so it doesn't sound insulting, the point still remains. There's experiences that people go through, and onlookers and observers learn from it, and they say, we see that when women who tend to be in these situations are women who tend to garner this type of outcome. We don't typically see women who avoid conflict in these type of situations. We usually see women who are prone to be in these type of situations. So when Hink goes out there and tries to help woman A, Hink learned his lesson. Hey, I'm not going to do that again. And then Law or Real Dope Daddy will run into that same woman, and she has yet to change her behavior. And because they don't know what Hink has experienced, they will step up to the plate. And then hopefully they learn, or they may get taken out. And if one of them was to get taken out, she's still not going to change her behavior. Then there's going to be another person who steps up. It could be Track Beats, it could be me, it could be you, whoever. Men are going to constantly keep stepping in the gap for these types of women, and their behavior will never change. So it is up to the men to recognize that this is not a situation that we should be a part of. We should encourage women, hey, get yourself a man. And then also encourage women to figure out how to de-escalate and get away from conflict, especially conflict involving men. But we don't want to promote that. We want to shame guys for wanting to go home to see their family and not being involved in conflict that has nothing to do with them.
Litigation lawyer with
so I'm not shaming anyone for wanting to go home, because I understand.
Well, we as a society, not you.
Right. And I agree with this the statement of we should encourage women to operate with respect, to not engage with men violently and physically and all those things. It's no argument in regards to that. I'm not saying let's cape for bad behavior and XYZ. I'm strictly speaking to the point of it's just something in me. Like I just can't watch somebody defend, like it's just not in me.
Marcus, I have a question for you. So would you consider this to be a traditional value, this idea that you feel like men should step up physically whenever they feel like a woman is in danger, or we just have this inherent responsibility to protect all women?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily traditional, because nobody taught me that.
But would you, if you just being reasonable, do you think that that's something that's traditional?
Yeah.
Of a man, right?
I would say traditionally that was the role, but I wasn't taught that. It's just something that I always felt that way.
People with that mindset are good for the military or for like protective roles, because you're the guys who are going to run into that burning building without having to be told to. So there's nothing wrong with that being in you. So again, I don't want you to feel like anybody is saying you're wrong. It's just the application that we disagree on. That's all.
And I understand wanting to be that way.
Like,
hold on, I'm my bad, Law. I wanted to finish.
Oh, you got it, bro. Keep going.
I understand wanting to be that way, because I think at one point we all were at some point in our lives, maybe when we were a little bit younger, and then we kind of got older, started thinking a little bit more. I understand that, but like, what is some things that women are traditionally still doing? Like, what is like for example, it's a thing called etiquette around women. Like, if women are around or kids are around, as men, we like, yo, kind of watch your language, right? Do most of y'all do that for the most part? Like, watch your language. A lot of guys feel like that, watch your language. But if we go to the gym and we see half naked women and we like, hey, I'd like for you to have just a little bit of etiquette for me as a man, and kind of like just change your outfit up a little bit, cover up a little bit, they'll look at us like we're crazy. So I just would like an example of how women are something traditional that women feel like in mass that they should be doing.
At this point now, I don't think there's a traditional role women feel like that they need to in mass that every woman would agree that they
not
need
even
to
a role, just a characteristic.
Like what duty do women have to black men that like you?
So my examples would be anecdotal, and I feel like, well, I believe you all would say that
anecdotal work because I'm sure that you're not the only person,
but not of your woman in particular. Like just
So most of the time when I see black women out, they are friendly to me. Most of the time, 96-98% of the time. If it's like a return or something at a desk, they usually gonna give me the play, and if it's past the date, they'll give me a pass. When I get served at restaurants or whatever, they're damn near overly flirtatious. They're very bubbly and kind of.
No, that's because you look like you tip good.
Whatever the reason is, anecdotally, that's how my experience has been with them.
Now, Marcus, these things that you are mentioning, I wouldn't consider to be traditional roles of women.
Right. I'm just saying I stepped away from the traditional point because I said this would be my anecdotal experience and you wouldn't view them as traditional. But I will say in general, Law, he hosts in-person podcast events, right? And JR does as well.
Yeah.
We'll be on the panel and it might be back and forth, and you might see some of the most contentious women you could think of. And then you get in the personal space of these women, and they are catering to the man in the spaces. Can JR and Law attest to that?
Facts.
Shit, I think we could all, even without the panel, know you could be contentious with a woman and then blowing her back out later like that.
Well, not even on a sexual aspect.
I made it extreme, but I was just being funny.
So,
yeah.
Marcus, I think even if it just came down to like, if men were like, hey, we'd like women to have a little bit more etiquette for men, and within etiquette, if you guys could just cover up a little bit, if they just would acquiesce to one thing, I feel like a lot of the men in the world would be like, all right, I'm down. I'll sign up. I'll be a crash dummy.
What would that one thing be?
It could just be that. Like, have some respect as far as like if we say something as men, because it's this thing called having respect for women, right? Like you might do something and be like, oh, you don't respect women. It's not a thing about respect for men isn't a thing. Oh, you don't respect men. You've never heard nobody say that, right? Because for whatever reason, it's a traditional thing to have respect for women. If women just kind of listen to what we said and when in terms of certain things like just dressing, just be a little bit more. We're not asking y'all to dress like nuns, a little bit more modest. I feel like most men would probably prefer that in the gym or something like that. If they would just acquiesce a little bit to certain things, I feel like most men would be like, all right, I'm down for the cause.
That's only over here. Globally, women fall in line. Globally, women fall in line. The hierarchy is adhered to. Over here is different. Globally, they fall in line.
Yeah. I've lived in a couple other countries, especially in Europe, and I don't think that's accurate. In Muslim countries, they do. In Asian or Japanese, like
it probably just depends on where.
Let him keep going through countries. Asian and Japanese countries, they're out of line. They don't follow the hierarchy.
I literally just said that they do. Before you interrupt.
So you said Muslim, Asian. Asia's a large ass place. So what do you say?
Europe. I said Asian countries, so that entails the countries that comprise the continent of Asia.
Okay, you just want to be an antagonist.
In Europe, they don't. On the continent of Africa, that's not the case in most of those African countries.
What are you talking about? Name the countries that the women are out of line.
We don't live in Africa and Asia and Australia. Kenny, we live in America.
Like first, before we had this conversation, do you have a passport?
Yes, I do.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure that we're on equal footing. So having lived in these places,
equal footing is having a passport?
No, that you can actually speak to something intelligently and not just speculatively. That's all my point.
Speaking to something intelligent, not speculative.
And not just speculative. It's just not speculating. I don't want to argue or debate conjecture. Living in these countries, as I have, there's not in Europe, women are just as.
You went back to Europe. I asked about Africa.
Africa is the continent. So pick a country on the continent you want me to talk about. South Africa, women are definitely not like or severely westernized. Canada,
okay, that's 50, what is that? 50, 52 or 54 countries in Africa. You just went to South Africa, right?
Yeah, that's the last one I went to. And that's the only one that I've lived in. So again,
okay, so there are 50 something more.
Right.
There's 50 something more in Africa.
and you have lived in experience in 0 of them. I have lived in experience in 1.
How do you know that? How do you know?
Because if you didn't, you would have led with it. It's an easy.
I wouldn't have led that. I know that there's 50 some odd countries.
No, because you don't want to. I won't give you the benefit of the doubt that you don't want to get cooked any further or sound stupid. So I just assumed that if you had lived in experience, you would have also offered that to the
third woman is Zulu. The third woman I dealt, and she works for Vodafone right now. So I've been to South Africa.
So you sleeping with someone?
You would want to ask.
What are you
would want to ask before you look foolish up here.
I got
a lot more years in life than you.
Yes, your parents didn't have an abortion way before mine did. Congratulations, champ. That doesn't mean anything now. Like you're 57 years old.
You sound dumb now with 3 masters. What about an abortion?
The only person I sound dumb to is somebody who didn't hear what I said, which must be you. So no, you're older than me and you have more. You have more time on earth than me, but I've done more in my 41 years in life than you will do in your entire life. So as far as living abroad,
how do you qualify that?
Don't do it, Kenny. Don't do it.
Yeah, you walk. I don't want to embarrass you, bro. It's
my first time on the guy. You're a military guy, yes?
I'm a retired military guy. Correct.
Okay, you did 20, right?
So no, I didn't have to do 20. I got retired at 14.
Okay, you got retired at 14. So what qualifies that you've done more in life than me that you know of? Go.
Okay, my socioeconomic status, my appearance, the success that I have in life.
We don't really have to go down this.
He asked the question, bro. I was just gonna answer it. Like,
okay, let's do it.
Like the fact that we can see the IKEA furniture behind you or whatever Motel 6 you're in. Like we can, however you want to have this conversation.
That's not IKEA.
Cool, Regency, whatever. The point is like, if we put us on paper,
socioeconomic, military, stay on point.
I've already have. If we put us on paper, I'm cooking you. And
no,
the only thing that you got on me is a felony. Congratulations for that.
No. You have 3 masters. I have 1 BA.
Congratulations.
I've worked for a communications company 29 years in July.
That's cool. You're an employee. I'm an employee.
I'm a 9/11 okay, you were an employee for the government yourself, so shut up.
I'm not now. So, I have 140 employees.
14 years. You were an employee for the government, yes?
And you were an employee for 29 years by choice. So you've been trading your time for money for 29 years.
Okay, yes. So here's the thing. I have financial licenses. Do you?
I have $1 million.
Kenny, I'm telling you,
like, you can't, you won't win here, bro. Like,
no. The military paid you. The military paid. Take money out of it. Take money out of it.
You can't take money out of it because you just mentioned 29 years in life. So again, bro, you work for somewhere for 29 years. I've been employing people for 10. So I sign paychecks. You collect paychecks.
Are you sitting on M's? Hey, Jill, I think I found the first one I want to do the Lapeef boxing with.
Cool. Okay.
Well,
you can't bring your gun in the ring.
I don't know what the Lapeef boxing is, but whatever it happens, if anybody would like to get in the ring with me, I am not running from smoke. So that is cool. Like your eyes are spread too far apart to want to fight. So that's cool, bro. Go ahead.
Nah, you fat.
I'm 6'2", 250. You're right. I'm a big dude. That's cool.
You fat. What that mean?